You're listening to Small Business Talk with Jerry. Sit in on great conversations with entrepreneurs who risk everything chasing the American dream.
Hey everybody, we are back. My name is Jerry, Small Business Talk with Jerry. Today we have Todd Hanson with us. He's an inventor. He's invented Compass Carts. That's his business. I should say he's invented the cart. But I'll let Todd take it away. Tell us a little bit about you and the cart. And
hey, thanks, Jerry. Yeah, as an inventor, it's always an idea in the back of my mind to be able to create something, and inspired by shows like Shark Tank or
a lot of fun.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you see these deals, right? And it's just like, how do you do that? How do you get that, from point A to point B?
Right. Well, that mentality of you're putting yourself out there.
Right? Oh, you really are.
And you're thinking, I think this is a great idea. Am I the only one? I mean, it's got to be scary, at least in the beginning.
It is. It's scary. It's risky. It's challenging. Can be expensive. Yeah. I started out wasn't expensive. But those numbers change drastically as you go. But no, it's fun. You got to take a chance. And I had an idea, and I found a solution to a problem, which, small business owners, that's what we do, right?
That's what we do. That's absolutely what we do.
If you see a problem out there, and it could be as simple as, I'm looking for, business with better customer service, or, a product that can do better in a certain market.
Yep.
I mean, that's what small business is all about.
Well, obviously, Small Business Talk is the name of the podcast. So
right.
We want to talk about the small business aspect of what you do. Probably a little more than what you do.
Right.
But this is such an interesting project, and I am a fan. I'm a huge fan.
Thank you.
So,
me too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, tell us about. Well, let's not even talk about the invention just yet. Let's talk about what's the problem you were trying to solve. What problem did you recognize?
Yeah. So, a hunter. So I'm out hunting, and when you're sitting in the tree in the woods, you got a lot of time to think. And I hunted public property, and so we couldn't take a motor vehicle in, and we'd often hike in a long ways, and we'd bring a game cart in, and then if we were fortunate enough to get something, we'd bring our deer out and put it on the back of a vehicle. Sometimes it's a Jeep, sometimes it's a truck, whatever it was.
Sure.
And the whole time I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking, why can't that rack on the vehicle and the cart be one and the same? I mean, how convenient would that be?
Rack. Tell us.
Yeah, so a rack would be like a cargo hauler. So you've seen maybe some SUVs running down the road.
Yep.
They may have totes and coolers or anything like that.
Off the back, like off a receiver hitch.
Anything that fits, yes, exactly.
Okay.
Sits on a 2-inch receiver hitch.
Okay.
And
so the platform.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Thanks for the description
there.
Yeah.
Well, I know the cart, and so I'm trying to think of what would relate people. We don't have a good picture, at this point.
Right.
But you later on in this podcast, you're going to give us direction to your website and your YouTube channel.
You bet.
Okay. Perfect. Because, guys, I'm serious. You got to see this thing. It is amazing. I mean, just when I saw it the first time, I was underwhelmed. And I don't mean that. I mean,
don't be.
I just looked at it going, okay, Todd, it's a cart. I mean, and it wasn't, to me, it just wasn't impressive because I'm like, it's a cart. I don't understand the importance. Then after we talked, and it's like, it doesn't look like any other cart, but it's still a cart.
It is.
So to me, not knowing, and I'm not a hunter. So, let's be honest, I own a gun store, but I don't hunt.
Fair.
Yeah. So don't judge me.
No.
Or do, but do it over there. So, but my point is, when you started explaining it to me, I'm like, this is genius.
It's a hard one to explain, isn't it?
It is. It was hard for me to wrap my head around it. And the more you talked about it and it started to make sense, I'm like, this is amazing. And of course, then my next question was, what do you mean this doesn't exist? That somebody hasn't already done this? I mean, because after you'd said it, it's like, why don't we have this? This is awesome. I mean, I went from underwhelmed to just extremely impressed. I mean, honestly, it was just such a transition because I just, like I said, when you first said it, I was all built up and I was excited. And then it's like, it's a cart. It's like, okay, it's a cart.
Yeah.
But seeing how it goes on the truck, I mean, I want to make sure that we do a good job of explaining to folks that this is a big deal. You need to go look at this, especially if you hunt I mean, when you tell I'm going to quit interrupting and let you tell your story,
good.
but I just want you to know, folks, it was so amazing as it sunk in my thick head what was going on here, and it was so cool that I just couldn't believe it didn't already exist.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, I was like, come on, this is too good of an idea to just start today. I mean, it's 2023. I mean, this thing should have been around for 20 years. And then when you factor in the e-bike thing, that makes sense because those haven't been around for very long. So anyway, I'm done interrupting.
No.
Tell us some more.
You know what? The cool part is the conversation that we just had here, and you're talking about a cart, and I'm talking about a rack. And in the small business, just to tie this all together, that's not the sizzle. The sizzle is the benefit of what that product does.
Right.
You know, the sizzle is I don't have to unload my gear and into the back of a vehicle, now unload it into a cart. You know, once it's in the cart, you just simply come up to the back of the vehicle, you slide the cart on.
Yeah.
And as long as everything's secure, you drive it away. Exactly.
Yeah. And it's a one-person job. You know what? And by the time this airs, maybe we will have a video tied to this. I'm not going to say we do or don't. I'm still so
we'll figure it out.
But at least, like I say, we'll make sure that you direct them to the videos. Because when you watch this, I'm just thinking, I mean, I'm lazy at heart. I want to be lazy. I really do. It's a struggle to not do things, but I just want to be lazy.
I don't buy it.
I'm telling you, I look at the amount of work. I look at the amount of work that goes into hunting and dragging and and getting the carcass out, all that. I'm thinking somebody out there. I mean, I do believe lazy people are more intelligent. I really do. So I mean, I'm thinking there's got to be a lazy hunter out there that went, there's got to be a better way.
Right.
And it took you. So I mean, I gotta applaud you. It just when you folks see this, it's amazing. But so that was the struggle.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to walk us through using the cart? Why does your cart fix that problem?
Well, so again, if you're out in the woods or whatever and you have your game or you just have a lot of gear on it, or maybe you're going down to a ball game and you got your coolers and your chairs and all that stuff out while you're watching your kids play ball. If you can imagine on the back as you're walking out back to your vehicle, you have all your stuff on the cart, and when you get back to the cart, instead of lifting all that stuff and putting it in the vehicle, you just simply slide it on the back on a mated receiver hitch. So it's a little rack that slides in the receiver hitch that you slide it up on. And it's specifically designed to work with that. So you slide it up, it lets you raise the wheels so you don't rip those off while you're rolling down the road.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot those tuck up.
Yeah, they tuck up. Yep. That was an important feature because you don't want to, lose expensive
bumper.
wheels.
Well, yeah, going out of a driveway or so get a steep driveway or something.
It would have been easy to do.
Yeah,
absolutely. And then when you slide it forward, there's just one pin in the front, or if you don't want it stolen, put a padlock on there.
Sure.
And then the handle just rotates up, so everything is all nice and compact. And
those are run flat wheat tires.
They are run flat tires. Yep, and we'll have a couple options for tires.
Sure.
So the aluminum mags, the cart's all aluminum, so you don't have to worry about the cart rusting.
And now you said you can't take motorized vehicles onto public land.
Correct,
right?
for hunting.
But now, like an e-bike is not considered a motorized vehicle as long as it's under 750 watt. Is that right?
750 watt. Now every market's different on that, so double check your local markets. But most of the time, it's 750
That's our legal
watts.
Disclaimer, by the way. Our professional legal opinion today.
See proper counsel.
Now, and this cart, that handle that tips up, it mates to the back of an e-bike, and you can literally pull it right onto.
Yeah. So you don't use the handle itself.
Oh, okay.
But there is a mount that goes from the cart right to the rear axle of the e-bike. So now it becomes a trailer.
Okay.
So now some of these hunters, they're going in 2, 3, 4 miles.
Sure.
In fact, with an e-bike and a cart, now you're not limited to 2 or 3 miles, especially if you're hunting, Montana or Wyoming or some place where you got acres and acres and miles to go.
I was going to say miles, yeah.
Yeah, so you can run this thing 8, 9, 10 miles in.
That's awesome.
And the cool thing, what I'm learning now, I'm not an e-bike hunter. I have a couple e-bikes now, but they're quiet.
Sure.
And they don't have exhaust, so you're zipping in, you're zipping out. And these hunters are telling me they ride right past the deer. The deer are like, what the hell is that? I don't know, but they're quiet, so it's an advantage.
And now, you turn the cart into a trailer, you
Yep.
pull it with an e-bike.
Yep.
When you mount the cart back onto the truck, the truck will also hold the bike.
It does.
Okay,
Yeah.
so tell us about that, because that's the part this is the rabbit hole I kept falling into on this cart that I didn't think I was interested in. It's just, I mean, it was just mind blowing. So yeah, tell us that.
So you're using the receiver hitch now for the cart. So a lot of times you'd have a bike rack on there.
You can't put a bike rack in.
So we made a bike rack for it. So the bike rack fits on top of the cart. It's easy to load. In fact, we've got a few designs. We still got to finalize some of the logistics of that. Speaking of the inventor part, running into some other patents out there that we're dealing with some challenges on.
All right.
There's always challenges in small business.
Yep.
But and then so now you're cruising down the road. You got your cart, you got your cooler, you got your bike,
and it all mounts.
It all fits together.
And then you've got a mount for a kayak too. Is that right?
Yeah, we're working on a handle mount for the kayak.
Okay.
So not that you would carry the kayak on the vehicle while you're traveling down the highway, but let's say you want to go
to get through the woods to the lake or to the river or
exactly. And this is I came up with that idea listening to our customers.
Okay.
And this was probably back in 2022, maybe 2021, somewhere in that area, where I was at a outdoor expo, outdoor show.
Sure.
A lot of motorhome
like
customer trade show type thing, and customers kept asking for it.
Okay. That was my question was how. I mean, being it's not it's in production now, but I mean back then it wasn't in production. How did you get feedback? So you're going to trade shows. You're literally pounding pavement, kissing babies. I mean,
getting feedback.
Okay.
Getting feedback. Took a few pre-orders. It's people that want to get on the, the early side of the product, and they see need for it. And it's been great. I mean,
this is a little off subject, but I'm going to ask, and this wasn't when we're doing these podcasts, folks. We do talk about a little bit. There's like an outline I have the guys fill out. The guys and the gals, and it's more for them than me. I don't take it back really. It's just I want them to think about what they want to talk about here. And this is a little off subject, so we're going to keep it raw, but. All I can think of is GoFundMe, and that's not what what's the
Kickstart.
Kickstart, thank you.
Yeah.
Have you looked into Kickstart, or do you know much? Okay, so are you on that, or did you decide against it? What's the thought there?
It was on my original business plan.
Okay.
You draft up, who you're going to have for your customers, and you think about it, and it was highly on my target to do that. There's some expense to it. Kickstarter gets, I think it's 10%.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there's a pretty good number there.
Sure.
And customers are much more forgiving as you're introducing them to a product. They're more willing to wait if you do a Kickstarter program or something like that. And it's still actually on my radar to maybe a small number out there. Indiegogo is another one.
Okay.
And it almost seems like that Indiegogo might even be a little bit bigger than Kickstarter right now.
Oh, I hadn't heard of that. So
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just another good way to find out if what you've created as an inventor, if there's a market for it.
And doesn't like Kickstarter, don't they give feedback almost like a focus group too? Is that part of there, or is it just marketing?
I think it's I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. As far as I know, it was just the marketing side, but there could be more to it that I'm not aware of.
Okay. I thought I know there is an organization out there. It might not be Kickstarter. I'm not an inventor, so this isn't anything I really looked heavy into. But after seeing your cart here, a year and a half ago, probably
sounds about right.
When I was introduced to it, I did start looking at some of that stuff, going, where could you go with this? What could you do with it?
Yeah. How do you tell the public?
Right. Right. But that's it. I mean, how do we take ourselves out of the 1800s where you have that? You can tell the people in your town, and then nothing else. I mean. We have the internet. You could be global tomorrow, but how do you get there?
And if you have an idea, the people are afraid to talk about their ideas.
Well, there's so many dishonest people out there.
Oh,
there's so many people that are willing to steal what you have in front of you, that's physical. I mean, how hard is it to steal intellectual property? I mean, if you're not protecting yourself, and how do you protect yourself?
Yeah, it's relatively easy.
Is it?
Yeah. So there's a provisional patent you can apply for. So if you got an idea, and this is what I did. In fact, I did a couple provisionals.
Okay.
In fact, I had 3 provisional patents. And the tricky part with a provisional patent is that it buys you a year. So you're documented, and it's a pretty decent form that you complete and you file with the patent office, U.S. Patent Office. But it's only like $75.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you have an attorney create it for you, then you have some attorney fees and such too. But the first one I did by myself. I mean, I just learned how to do it, and I filled out a provisional patent. I learned later from my attorney it wasn't very good, but I was protected in my mind that I could show this to other people, other businesses.
Okay.
Yep, and you can tell them I have a provisional patent. In fact, you might even hear that sometimes if you're watching Shark Tank, for example.
Yep.
And so that gives you the freedom to start talking about your idea and don't feel like you're going to lose it.
Okay.
The caveat to that is if it is something you want to move forward with, unless there's some major change, you have to file that patent in a year.
Okay, for the actual patent then.
Yes.
So this is like so a provisional is a temporary patent just to get you started.
Yeah, it's a date and time. I started it, August 1st or whatever of 2023. This is my date. Now I got till 2024, August 21st.
Can you extend those, or is it just you have to go to the patent next?
You can extend it, but it has to be something different.
You have to have made a change.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So like in my situation, the reason I was able to go with multiple provisional patents is I learned some of the stuff that I had in my original provisional didn't work.
Okay.
A locking mechanism, or it wasn't easy to manufacture, or there was a lot of different things that changed. And because I had change, as long as you have change, you can file another provisional.
So you're not really filing an extension; you're just filing for a new product because you changed it.
Yeah, and if your product doesn't change, after your year is up.
Okay.
Now
that's open market if you haven't. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to get your patent from that.
Correct. And that's, again, we'll throw that legal disclaimer out there. That's Todd's experience. Yep. And if you're at all interested, or people listening to this are thinking about, gosh, I got this idea, I wish I had done something, and kind of inspiring me was my grandfather.
Okay.
He had a light control on a boat that he had as an idea, and he actually built it, and it worked really well. And I remember him at a point in time seeing that actually out there, and he was disappointed. He didn't take action.
Oh, so he had the idea, and he did them, but he didn't market it. He didn't. Someone else did.
Yeah. So eventually someone comes up with a similar idea, and away you go.
Yep.
And I will tell you, when I did the patent searches to see if I had something out there that was unique, I found a patent out there that isn't that far different. Similar concept of loading onto a receiver hitch rack.
Okay.
After my trial and errors, I found out why theirs didn't work. But there's somebody out there that's going to see this and go, damn.
yeah, I wanted to do this.
I was so close.
Yeah, absolutely. That's interesting. I mean, that really is on how you. So where do you go from there? You have your provisional patent. What's the next step? What did you
market? Find out if there's a buyer.
See if people will pay for it.
Yep. See and cost. How do you find it? How do you make it?
At what point did you build one? I mean, a demo.
Before I filed a provisional.
Oh, so you had one at that point. You already had one built.
Garage built.
Sure, but you had a prototype.
Yeah, I did one out of wood.
Okay.
Just to see if the concept of loading it onto a receiver hitch rack would even work. And that worked. So then I took it to the next level, went to an aluminum one. And it's funny because I pitched this product to some people that they were like, you're nuts. I mean, what are you doing? And now that I got one and it's rolling well, they're my biggest fans. They're like, how the hell did you do this?
Well, like I said, when I saw it the first time, I was like, okay, it's correct.
Right.
I mean, I wasn't. So I'm with you. And now, I talk about this thing all the time. I have, I have your logo on my. I have his logo on my water. Oh, where is it? There, right there. That's his logo. It's awesome, folks. Yep, it's on my water bottle.
Yeah.
But we talk about it all the time. I mean, at work, when I'm with customers, I talk about it all the time, and it's just
Yeah.
like I say, and the thing that just amazes me is how I didn't understand it, so it didn't seem like a big deal,
Yeah.
And and I told you that right away after I figured out how cool this thing is, and how awesome it's going to be for people that can use it. I mean, I even came up with a couple ideas of my own
Right.
that I gave you, and I thought I was
Yeah.
really excited about, which not go in that direction, and I can appreciate that. But, I'm thinking like the contractors, those guys would go gaga for something like this.
Oh,
You know,
we'll get there.
yeah, but there's so many other things also, and I'm like, and I have nothing to do with this. I mean, this
Yeah.
isn't, but all of a sudden it gets exciting, and then I just felt dumb, because I'm like, this was not impressive when I saw it. It was just as impressive the first day I saw it as it is today. I just didn't get it.
Yeah.
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 And so, but then that makes me think, okay, I know I'm not the smartest guy in the room. So, but there's a lot of folks out there that are. There's only one guy in the
Right.
room that's the smartest guy in the room.
Right.
The rest of us are the rest of us. And so I'm thinking, if I didn't get it, I'm not the only one. So now, that was in the back of my head. I thought, if I could help Todd with anything, you're the inventor. You don't need my ideas to go to contractors or go to this or go to that. You don't need to hear that from me. What I think that I wanted to, if I was going to help you anywhere, it's like I got to take my experience, which was that I wasn't impressed, and now I'm just so impressed. It's like, and that's 100% on me. I just didn't get it.
Right.
And
but it's not just on you.
it's not, because you didn't help me get it right away.
The elevator speech.
Right.
You've heard the elevator speech. Every small business owner needs an elevator speech.
Yes.
And
yes.
listen to how I started this podcast. I don't even have a good elevator speech for this product yet.
Right. Right.
And I'm trying. I mean, it's
hard to explain. I mean, you said it. You started the podcast with, it's hard to explain. And it is. And I just, if there's anything I can do, again, I just want to relate to folks that I can't help sell this cart, but what I can tell people is, take a minute to watch the videos, go to the website, go to his YouTube channel. If you hunt at all, if you have a farm, if you have anywhere where a cart/trailer would be handy, this thing is amazing. It's not just for pulling deer out of the woods. I mean, this thing is so cool.
It's so multifunctional.
It is. It's just so many. And I mean, how you narrow this down to market it to a group.
Right.
There's, I'm thinking all my friends that live on farms, even the friends that work at, they work in town, but they have their little hobby farm. Mm-hmm. This thing would be great. Yeah. Heather wants one for the daycare. I mean, we'd have to put a little padding, some pool noodles on it for the daycare.
We can do that.
But she said that same thing. We were in Fleet Farm not that long ago. Within the last year, we're looking at like carts to pull behind your garden
little
tractor.
wagons.
Yeah, little wagons.
Yeah.
And then she's looking at yours going, that's awesome, because she wants an e-bike, and she's like, the wagons, there's no good way to pull a wagon behind an e-bike.
Well,
there just isn't.
This you can.
Right. And it's, so I just want to help people relate that if you take a look at this thing and it doesn't seem like your cup of tea immediately, give it a minute. Do yourself a favor and take a look. Like I say, watch the videos, talk to Todd, check his website out. It's impressive. It's very impressive.
And you just said something you can pull behind a garden tractor. There's an attachment that you can pull this behind a garden tractor or an ATV.
Let me talk to the inventor. I want to talk to this guy. I want to know what's going on here.
It's already there. It's
it.
coming.
Okay.
Yeah, the product will be shipped here shortly for that part.
Awesome.
Yeah, spring loaded, so it's takes some of the dampening out between, especially on the e-bike, which is really neat.
Sure. So you're not banging into the
so it helps cushion the the balance of the cart for the rider.
Right.
But it's, and as you're talking about this, it's the funniest things how people want to use it.
Sure.
And the most original one, and this was early. This was really early when I just showed. In fact, my very first prototype was really raw. It just showed a concept is all it did.
Okay.
And I was pitching an idea, trying to actually get an investor. So that's why I made it. And a customer says to me, "Man, that would be awesome for skiing."
For skiing?
Mm-hmm. And his name was Todd also. I said, "Todd, You'll have to explain this one to me.
Because you ski.
Why?
You do ski, right?
No.
Oh,
no.
I thought you did.
I fall.
Okay. Oh, fall. Yeah. Well, fair enough. Yeah, I hurt. But yeah, it's.
I have skied, but I'm not a skier. But, water skied. I water skied when I was young. But anyway, no, he's downhill skier. They go out to Colorado a lot, and from where they have to park in to get to the chalet is a long haul, and they always brought a rack on the back of their vehicle to put their totes and all their ski equipment and stuff like this. And there was an aha moment with him that I could leave all my totes on here and walk this stuff up to the chalet instead of carrying everything.
Sure.
Because I need the receiver hitch. I need the rack on the back for the receiver hitch anyway.
Right.
And my aha moment from that conversation was, I need to make this so it'll fit through a door.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So I made it, what's about 33 inches wide, so you can get it through a 36-inch door.
With tires and all that.
Tires and all.
Outside width.
Yeah.
That's
It's
awesome.
a tight fit, but
Sure,
it'll go.
sure, absolutely.
I mean, I maximize it all the way out. So if your door doesn't open real well, it's going to be tight.
Yeah, no hoarders. You can't have that little path going through. No, that's all. But there again, that's how big was the original cart? Bigger than that?
A little narrower,
narrower.
but I got people had asked for stuff to get in to put in the cart. Like here's another one. Their trash cans. It's a long haul down the driveway to carry their trash cans out to the trash. And he was looking for something that he could have on the back of the vehicle, set the trash can in there, and drive it down to the end.
Sure.
And I made it wide enough inside the basket that his traditional trash can will mount or sit inside
Sit
there.
inside of it.
That way he's not walking down with those little
Right.
plastic wheels
Yeah.
on your,
Yeah, because that only goes so far too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know how people are going to use this
yeah.
because I learn every single day of a different idea.
Do you still do trade shows?
Yes.
Yeah.
We got a couple of them booked already this year. So
Okay.
we'll be in Minneapolis at the Minneapolis Deer and Turkey.
Okay,
I'll be in La Crosse at the La Crosse Sports Show.
okay.
And then I'm going to do a trade show down in St. Louis as well.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be a bow hunting trade show specifically
Okay.
for the businesses. So it won't be open to the public.
So let me ask you this. Into the whole help me help you
Yeah.
thought mentality. With our listeners, what's a good referral for you? What's a good referral partner for you or business partner for you to market, to sell? Who might be watching this or listening to this that you would say, hey, if you like, I mean, you and I have talked. I own a gun store.
Yeah.
And so we've talked about maybe putting a demo in there so people can see it, and with like a little iPad type screen that would just give a little demo to show people. Because again, walking by that cart's a cart.
Yeah.
Until you see what this cart can do.
Yeah.
Then that little video or something. But so like another sporting goods store or who listening to this would you welcome someone to reach out to you?
Anybody who knows somebody it doesn't have to necessarily be outdoor business, but again, that's one of the hot markets for it.
Sure.
Anybody that has a unique idea, that says, hey, I would love to have something like this because I have a daycare, or
Right.
I have a kennel, or
Yep.
I like to garden, or I like to
How
go to the
about-
beach.
How about like an e-bike store
E-bike store
or a bike store that sells e-bikes? I mean, anybody, something
Any-
like that be
Yeah,
beneficial?
Yeah. ATV store. Here's another one.
okay?
Do you know anybody else that does podcasts or has their own YouTube channel that wants to be an influencer?
I think I'm the only one dumb enough to spend this much money on stuff that I don't know how to run.
But
So-
that would be a question
That'd
for
be
our
good
listeners,
too.
right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
I have a
Yeah.
customer that's going to take one. He's out of La Crosse. He does a lot of outdoor shows, or not outdoor shows necessarily, but outdoor YouTube
Okay.
videos.
Okay.
Anybody that's an influencer that way,
Okay.
we'll sign people up. Maybe you're an RVer and you travel all over, and you want something convenient. Get on my referral list.
Okay.
It's a no, I just lost the term for that. I can't think what that's
Well,
called.
where's
It's
your
called
referral
an affiliate.
site?
It's called an affiliate.
Affiliate. Okay.
Yeah, so you can go to my website. You can become
Okay.
an affiliate, and anybody you recommend, you give them your little affiliate code, and when they buy a cart from me, you get a commission.
Perfect. Okay. That's exciting, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
exciting. Get out there and for all of us that have that ability to talk to people and broadcast that.
You're right.
I'm going to get an affiliate card and put it on this podcast.
Bingo. That's what it takes.
Yeah, but that's get it out there. I mean, that's awesome.
You know, it's
yeah.
a new idea. So,
Right.
you know, what do you do when you have something new? You need people to talk about
You
it.
need people to talk about it, right?
Yeah.
You need people to experience it and go. You don't want me to look at it and then just walk away and tell everybody how unimpressed I was. You want
Right.
to take the time to explain it to me. I get to see it in action and then go, God damn, that thing is cool. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
You know that because that's, I mean, that 10-minute difference from the first time I looked at it to 10 minutes after we talked about it. I mean, I did a complete 180 on that thing, and that's what you need. You need the people that take just a few minutes to recognize what's in front of them.
Right.
You know, because like a lot of guys, yeah, I'm a guy. I look at it and I think I knew what I was looking at.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I made up my mind, and it was just. I mean, it took me half a second to figure out, you know,
Right.
and it wasn't until you started explaining it to me. So that's I say the hard part with so many new products
Right.
is they don't sell themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they,
Yeah.
they don't. I mean, the function, everything is there, but if I don't know it's there, you know, I mean, if I take a Rolex and I, you know, put a Timex insignia on it, nobody's going to give me $10,000 for it. Nobody's
Right.
going to, you know, I mean, that's, you have to know what you're looking at. If
Yeah.
if I've never heard of Rolex, if I've been living under a rock for the last 50 years, I get this $100,000 Rolex in front of me. It's a watch.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
So
You're
yeah.
getting a Rolex with a Z instead of an X.
Right. but that's it. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
you have to. The product, as great as it is, it doesn't. I shouldn't say it doesn't sell itself. It doesn't market itself.
Right.
Right. You know, it doesn't
Right.
inform you, and you've got to let people know what you have.
You know, and that's a really good point, though, too. So the way I did it as an inventor, where I'm literally bringing the product to market, and I found the manufacturing, and I researched all that, and I hired the engineers, and I did all of that, right?
Yep.
You don't have to.
Okay.
There's another way to do this. If all you want to do is be like Mr. Wonderful on the Shark Tank,
yep.
right? And you want to collect royalties, you can take an idea. Sometimes it's not even a prototype, but it's just a really good idea. And maybe you do a quick provisional patent to protect your idea.
Sure.
Maybe you got a cool idea for a pet toy, or maybe you got a different way to blow up balloons, or whatever it is, right?
Right.
And once you have that idea,
You're taking notes, by the way, when you say this stuff.
you can pitch good, because I'm telling you, I'm not sure I did it the right way. Well, we'll know in a few years, right?
Yeah.
But it's taken me 4 years to get here.
But you own everything, lock, stock, and barrel.
I own
it's
everything.
It's all
right now.
you.
It's
right?
all me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But it's not necessarily the best way to do it all the time. So
Sure.
if you don't want to be the person that takes on all the risk and all the effort, you can sell the idea to a business,
sure.
and sometimes you just collect a royalty.
Right.
So I could have done that, and I could have said, here, I want this manufacturer, they make something similar to this. I'll tell you what, you can buy the rights to it. I want a royalty, and I want to get paid, X amount of dollars for every one you sell.
Sure. Sure.
And so that's another way to do this without going through some of the, ups and downs and finding a manufacturing and, working on logistics and all the
Right.
legal and all that stuff. And then
Right.
there's other ways to invent.
Sure, that makes sense. Because otherwise, I mean, if you had done that, these possibly they could have already been to market a couple of years ago.
More than likely, they would have been to market a
Yep.
couple of years ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you'd be on invention 2, 3, 4 by now.
Right,
I mean,
right.
Possibly.
Right.
Yep. But like we said too, there's that risk. It's like you look at the folks who go on Shark Tank. It's like, well, I want to buy half your company. It's like, well, I don't want to give up half my company.
Right.
It's like, okay, so if you do it on your own, you make $50,000, you get all of it. You come with me and we blow this thing into a $10 million company. Well, you're only going to get $5 million because you only own half.
Right.
Really? I mean, that, but that's the mentality, is that's the risk you take.
And that's hard. That's hard
Yeah.
for an inventor.
It is. Well, it's hard to give it up, I would think. It's your baby.
Well, it is, and just same with small business. I mean, how many people go into small business and they're running it, and they only want to run it their way, and it's hard to give up control. So, are you at the point where you need to hire a manager to help you with stuff that
Right.
you can't? It's the same with an inventor.
Yeah, I bet.
You know.
I had a conversation. I had lunch with a friend today, and he's owned a few businesses, and now he's a salesman for a huge company. I didn't know how big they were. They're on every continent. I didn't know that. I thought they were like a small Midwest company, is what I thought. And I buy their product. I mean, at one of my shops. But he was telling me, he said, we're on every continent. He said, we have like over 1,000 distributorships. And I was like, holy cow, I had no idea they were that big. But anyway.
To piggyback on that, I actually received a call out of the blue, just a cold call, from a guy out of England, a company that wants to carry the carton.
How did they hear about you?
They were searching for new ideas. And ended up getting a lead from a contact and looked up on our website, picked up the phone and called me.
That's
and
amazing.
They're a regional distributor. They distribute overlanding stuff, so anything you would put on like a back of a van or overlanding, if you can imagine overlanding.
Yeah.
And they were looking for new ideas. And super excited. They want to do something. And then when I was at the trade show
Did they say the same thing I did? I can't believe no one's done this yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, really, it's so useful. I just can't imagine we made it to the 2023 without that being out there.
Yeah. And I met a guy, I was at a trade show, I was parked outside the hotel, and when you're a small business, you do guerrilla marketing.
Right.
I don't know if you know what guerrilla marketing is or customers
explain it to everybody, though.
So guerrilla marketing is how you can get your product in front of other people without spending a lot of money. Okay. I went to a trade show. It's like $10,000 to get into the trade show. And there's a worldwide trade show. There's companies from all over the world looking for product.
And where was this at?
Denver.
Okay.
And it was at the convention center in Denver. So I pull into the hotel parking lot, and I've got it on the back of a truck, so it's pretty long. And if you can imagine in a downtown situation, the valet looks at that, goes, I don't know if we can fit that downstairs. I said, how about we do this? And I gave him a decent tip. I said, can you just park it right out here in the front? I said, I'm okay. I'll lock everything up. Oh, yeah, that'd be great. I wouldn't have to park it down there. We're fine with that. We'll do that. So meanwhile, he literally parks it in front of the hotel where half the people that were going to the trade show were.
Right, sure, they're walking in and out.
They walked right in and out of all day long. And here I meet this guy, not even for the trade show, just happens to be in town on business, sees it, comes up and starts asking me questions about it. Come to find out, he runs a number of businesses all over the world, primarily in Australia.
Okay.
And he says, this is where one of the kayak ideas came from. He says, my brother takes a kayak down to the Sydney Harbor.
Okay.
And he says, I don't know what's going to happen when he catches a big fish. we may never see him again.
Yeah, that's not the place to be fishing.
Not on a kayak. I wouldn't think so. But it's crazy how he was like, yeah, I'll reach out to you. I'd be interested. He asked if I was actually selling them in Australia yet. I said, no, I'm still trying to launch them here in the U.S. What do you mean Australia?
I was giving my hometown first thing.
Exactly. Maybe I should make one for you.
Right.
But yeah, it's crazy. And then the guerrilla marketing is literally I just park the truck and
that's
right in front of someplace.
That goes back the red car theory, right? Mm-hmm. We talked about that. It's seize the opportunity.
Yeah.
And how many people would even see that opportunity?
Right.
I mean, that's brilliant. I mean, it really is. And we talk all the time. People give you the whole "must be nice" thing.
Yeah.
We mentioned that in our last couple podcasts, and we'll probably mention it in every one of them because it is just something.
Must be nice.
Yeah, so annoying. But and people tell you how you keep falling into these good deals.
Right.
Or you keep falling into this, networking or whatever, and it's like, do you understand that? Some people just pay attention, right? I mean, like I said earlier, I'm not the smartest guy in the room. So if I'm not the smartest guy in the room, I got to work that much harder to be successful. You have to. And part of working harder, it's not all swinging a hammer. It's not all breaking a sweat.
No doubt.
It's paying attention.
No doubt.
And that's it. There you see an opportunity, and it didn't start out as an opportunity. It started out as a negative. Because he didn't want to park you.
Right.
I mean, you got a valet going, I don't think I can help you.
And I'm thinking I got to park on the street, and how many blocks away am I going to have to park?
Right. So I mean, it starts out with a negative.
Right.
Craig and I talked about the other day what do you do when an employee of yours says, I'm good enough at this. I'm going to go compete with you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's rewarding. I mean, in a sense, because you've taught someone, they feel comfortable enough with what you've taught them that they think they'll do it on their own. And maybe they can. They think they can do it better than you, and maybe they can.
Right.
You don't know. But like and Craig and I said, well, he's like, that's a terrible feeling when they're ready to compete with you. I was like, well, that's an opportunity, because you need to determine in your mind, is that guy, that gal, are they good enough to compete with you? And if they are, then don't let them compete with you. Take care of them. Show them how important they are to you. Show them how appreciated they are.
Right.
And then give them the responsibility that they're looking for. Whether that's you opening a new facility and having them run it. I mentioned I'm not getting any younger. I'm ready to step away. Well, step into my shoes.
Yeah.
Don't tell this kid or this guy or this gal that they're too dumb to do this, or that you don't want them to do it, or we talk about how some people, they mentor, but they only mentor halfway because you want to keep the upper hand. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Don't do that to people, but use that negative there. Well, I don't know if I can park you, sir. Well, most of us just be panicking, going, what the hell do I do now?
Right.
And you all of a sudden look at this going, yeah, you can. You can put me right here, and like I said, you grease the wheels a little bit with a good tip. Fair enough. It makes the world go round.
It does. It does. They were happy. They were, when I wasn't around, they were showing it to people.
Yeah. I bet. Why not? I mean, nobody, again, once you realize what it is, it's not a commonplace piece. No one's ever seen it before.
Right. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
If I haven't mentioned it, you guys got to go check this thing out. I'm just saying.
Another inspirational part of this that you can talk about, the guerrilla marketing thing.
Yep.
Richard Branson.
Oh, yeah.
Owns Virgin.
Yep.
Mobile and planes.
Virgin everything.
Yeah, hotels.
Yeah.
He wanted to have his blimp fly over the Super Bowl. And Goodyear had the contract, so he couldn't do it.
Yep.
And he said, well, it's open airspace. You can't stop me from flying over it. But he couldn't get advertising he couldn't advertise for the NFL or anything like that.
Sure.
Okay.
Right.
So he comes up with this idea. He's flying the blimp around the stadium, and on his little, what do they call that little banner that they play across the bottom?
Like the LED.
The LED, yeah. Yep. He goes, NFL cameramen are the sexiest men around.
So
they could not help themselves. They had to show that. They had to show the blimp.
That's awesome. But there again, take a problem, turn into a positive.
Yeah.
That's opportunity if you're not looking for opportunity all the time, you will never turn a negative into a positive.
Right.
It just won't happen.
Right.
And that's part of, so you've got so many irons in the fire with just one project.
Right.
It's because you're an inventor.
You wear a lot of hats.
Right, a lot of hats. An entrepreneur. You had to go. You have to negotiate deals. You've got to find people to negotiate with in the first place that can do what you need done.
Right.
And it sounds like you went through some manufacturers before you found a place that could do what you want for a price that allowed you to resell it.
That's true. Yeah.
Because you can't even talk about, was it affordable to have it manufactured? It's not about if it's affordable. It's about, is it affordable enough to have it manufactured and shipped and marketed and still be profitable?
Right.
Because if you can't sell it for a profit, this doesn't work at all.
Right.
So,
and all in the whole COVID times.
Right. Yeah, I suppose.
Because I was about to launch when COVID came out. I was like, I'm going all in, man. I am. I'm marketing. I'm pushing. I've got major retailers interested in carrying the product, and then COVID hit. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I was just about to take out a big loan. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm glad I didn't, because I'd have lost my ass, right?
Right.
And hindsight being 2020, that's when everybody went outside.
Right.
I should have had it by then.
Yeah.
But
who knew that? I would have never guessed that.
No.
You couldn't keep bikes on the shelf. You couldn't. You walk into a Walmart, a Fleet Farm, any bike store, it was just empty shelves.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Everybody was getting outside because that was really the only place you could go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of ups and downs. That's the thing.
That's a great point of small business. Who would have seen that at the time? Who would have seen that? And by the time you saw it, by the time you really understood it, you'd have never made it to market. You'd have
No.
never been able to get the money and do everything. By the
Right.
time you did that, the bubble burst.
Right.
So you'd had to go all in when it seemed like a terrible idea.
Right.
I mean,
Right. Yeah.
yeah. I never thought about that. The outside aspect of COVID. It was the outdoors industry just, exploded.
Right.
Yeah, crazy. That's cool. I never thought about that. That's
So
Yeah.
and I'm thinking, when I first pitched this in 2019, and I found, kind of remember how I found it. I don't know if it was a Facebook post or LinkedIn post maybe, but Camping World was looking for new products, and they did an expo, and they had the date, it was in September, and I showed them my original prototype. I called and I got to talk to the guy, and he's like, "Oh my God, we're gonna sell all kinds of these things. When can you have one?" Well, that was my original prototype. I didn't even have a model to take to the show. But the show was in like 4 or 5 months.
Yep.
So I had 4 or 5 months to get one made. So I find a manufacturer that'll work with me to prototype
Sure,
it.
do a
man,
one-off.
And we built. And he was going to do like the design, because it was raw. It wasn't strong. It was just an idea.
Sure.
You put a little weight in it, the thing would fall apart. I mean,
Sure.
I got bike wheels from bikes off of stuff I bought at the thrift stores here.
Oh, sure.
Because it was cheaper to buy the whole bike and take the wheel off and throw the bike away than it was to buy wheels.
To buy, yep.
You were really thrifty getting going. And so pushed through that. We right before I'm ready to leave, everything you can imagine has gone wrong. There's a kickstand that's not working, couldn't get it into powder coat fast enough. They're backed up in the manufacturing side. If you can imagine what was going on, and keep in mind, this is still prototype, so it's not going to be perfect.
Right.
I wanted it perfect.
Right. Right.
And here it is. I got the show. I have to present this product at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday. Wednesday at 3 o'clock, we still can't get it put together, and I got to drive 5 hours to Chicago to present this yet.
Oh my God.
And that's including like my displays and all kinds of stuff. And I'm literally taking stuff to the powder coater, and I'm going to all day on Wednesday. I'm picking up parts at Fleet Farm and trying all kinds of stuff. The kickstand that goes with it was failing, and I just couldn't get it right. And we get as much as we can. I'm like, okay, fine. The kickstand doesn't work. We'll put it on the bike. You don't need a kickstand when it's on the bike. When we're moving it on the rack, we'll just tell them we're still working on it. And it's what it is. So my daughter's coming with me. So we hop in the truck together, and we got the cart on the back, and we're cruising. And I have to admit, Jerry, man, it was. Any small business has their doubts. They're second guessing themselves all the way.
Absolutely.
And I'm at the point, do I just turn around? Because it's not right. It's not right to me.
It's not, yeah.
How do you make a pitch that's probably a life-changing pitch with a product that's inferior? How do you do that?
Right.
So we're going through some of the stuff on there. We're making the brochure on the way down because I didn't have any pictures yet.
Sure.
We didn't have final product.
It wasn't.
It was getting powder coated the same day I'm leaving.
Wow.
And so I'm talking to my daughter Carly, and she is pumped up about it. She's not feeling the stress that I'm feeling, which was awesome to have her along.
Yeah.
And we get from La Crosse to Wisconsin Dells, and I'm honestly thinking about just turning around.
Yeah.
I don't want to show this the way it is. So I pull in there, and Carly says, "Well, I want to get a cup of coffee." So I pull in there, pull into a Starbucks, and I noticed them, but it didn't dawn on me that they were following me necessarily. It was the first Starbucks we could find off the interstate. So here's this Lexus SUV following me in, and Carly hops off. She runs in and get her coffee, and this Lexus pulls up, rolls his window down, and says, "What is that? That's really cool."
Saw you on the highway and followed you in.
Followed me in. Yep. And gave him my car and told him we're just getting ready to launch. And of course, that was 3 years ago.
Right.
But that was the sign. Yeah. That was like, okay, dang it,
can't turn around.
Can't turn around.
No, can't turn around after that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That was the. And if you don't look for those signs, they're all around you.
Right. They're always out there.
Yeah.
A lot of red cars.
A lot of red cars.
A lot of red cars. And for those that don't know what I'm talking about, Google red car theory. Just we'll be talking about. I'm going to mention it through these podcasts a lot, but red car theory. I mean, there's a lot of red cars out there, and if you're not paying attention, you just don't see them.
Yeah.
You just don't see them.
Yeah.
And so, well, I see we're at about 50 minutes.
Holy cow, that went quick.
That went quick. But will you come back?
I'd love to.
Okay. I say this wasn't terrible.
No,
Awesome.
this is a lot of fun.
Awesome.
And I hope
Awesome.
people listening, pick some good tips, and if they have questions or just want some little advice, reach out to me at Compass Carts. I'd be glad to.
Yep. And the website is
compasscarts.com.
Okay. So, spelled like it sounds.
Spells like it sounds.
Okay.
And
And when we post this, folks, in the YouTube side of things, we'll make sure that the links are there, even if it's in the comments. But we'll get things here at the end of this. You'll be able to pick up on how to get a hold of Todd.
Yep.
And then, we'll have Todd back in, and maybe we'll bring him in with some other folks, and we'll bounce some ideas, a little round table type next go round or something.
That'd be a lot of fun. That'd be a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well,
I
everybody,
could learn a lot from a lot of people. That's you always got to.
You got to keep an open mind, right? You got to be looking for those red cars.
Yes.
It's always out there. So, awesome.
Well, Jerry, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, Todd. Thanks for coming out. Guys, we'll see you next time. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, please. Take a listen. If you know anybody that would benefit from this, let them know what we're doing. Have a great night.